So why would we want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt?
Let's go, sir.
Right. So we are looking for cold spots. So it is about 52 degrees ambient for us out here. So we're going to be looking for 37 degrees and below for any kind of cold spots. I do have a blue dot bouncing around the screen. That's going to give us the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So I do keep track of all of your weather, by the way. When you guys get your data back, it's a full science report. So you're going to have the moon phase, you're going to have the weather, the K indexing, and how many people and what devices were used during your investigation. So that's your conditions at the top. But anyway, back to the thermal. So what I'm looking for in this guy, you guys should be able to see me, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy?
Right.
So I point that out. So sorry, Colton, this is going to work here. That means I'm the hottest frame, or the hottest guy in the frame right now. So yes, it works because it's mostly ladies. Again, bridal parties, it slays. So if they show up a little tipsy, they're on the ground. I'm like, oh shit, don't wear heels. But anyway, I'm looking for blue and black. Like, this is a FLIR thermal imaging camera, so this is the real deal. Those blue and black things.
I saw a little black.
It's probably a window, more than likely. So what I will tell you is what I'm looking for out of that blue and black, I want it to move or to take shape. So again, if you see a window and it's black, like a windshield, is going to, obviously the glass is going to hang on to the cold more so than a tree or a leaf, right? So when I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. So that's hopefully what we're going to be able to capture again. Do I get those every single night? No, I don't even pull this camera out every night anymore. I used to. It used to be kind of a staple. But now, I would say I probably get about 3 to 5 pieces out of this every year. So I like to give you guys stats of what to kind of expect out of these devices and what I've seen. So I've been doing this long enough. The Taurus for 4 years, by the way, before somebody asks, and I've been ghost hunting for almost 13. So again, a little bit of experience doing this. So with this one, Colton, this one's going to go to you. This year's all right. So, Colton's like the perfect cameraman. He's like super still.
I trained him well.
What do they use? What do they call them? Like ball things where it doesn't look
The
like
gyros?
Yeah. There's a word for it.
Gyroscope or whatever.
Yeah, but there's a name brand for them. Anyway, I actually looked into
gimbal.
Gimbal. Thank
Yeah.
you. I actually looked into one of those to try to fit
To
around
hold
that
it?
phone, but with that battery pack to keep the camera running, it wouldn't fit, so I had to return it, which I was very sad. But anyway, welcome to just a little bit more training. So you have to imagine if I have 10 to 12 people in front of me, I have to teach 10 to 12 people how to use their gear. It's in your hands now, so let's talk about them. This is the big red barn lot. This is where we keep some of the horses for your carriage rides. So history here is very, very simple. This is the same red barn that held horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So keywords here would be delivery, milk, and eggs. So I just realized I singled out the one gentleman we have without a communication device. So it's a good thing I put that one in her hand. It's kind of like, that's kind of weird. So delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable. What is the first question anybody would want to ask a Ouija board? If you've never used one, think of a TV show or a movie that you have.
Is there anyone here?
Perfect. Thank you. So let's say we all stood around, the 5 of us, and said, is anybody here? And then Mary hears the answer no. That means somebody's here. Yeah. We are not going to be using yes/no questions. You guys are going to go home and watch your favorite TV shows, and you're going to see that that's all they do. We're going to go after some of the details, right? So if somebody's here, tell me what color a big red barn is. All right? So now we know we're looking and listening for the color red. However, the two of you are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages back to the rest of us. The word red might not be available to that song lyric, DJ, or commercial. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those 3 things are specifically red. I would take that as a possible paranormal happening if something else was going on. Let's say Liz's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything over here by itself. Sophia hears the number 40 coming out of hers. You put those 2 clues together. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's a lot of puzzle piece collecting. More like an escape room.
Not brave. No. Now it's report.
So to see your full word list, you hit the little box on the right.
You looking at the reading?
So far, the only thing that might be relevant is the name Carol, and that's, we all know now why.
Right.
So again, am I going to count it just yet? I'm not. Only simply because I always look for that piece that's going to verify what already came through. Right. So even though we have great-grandma's name, sorry, I didn't mean to put 3 greats in front of that poor woman.
Good.
Now that we have her name, we're looking for something else that might be specific to her, and I don't want to know what those things are.
Okay.
Simply because if I go through Mary's recording later on and I find something weird, it's going to go in your list, but I might not know what it means.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I have a quick question. So, which number?
The top one.
Okay.
The bottom one is ambient temperature. So, in the event that Colton finds something on his camera, you and I are going to go prove it or debunk it in real time.
Okay, because it hasn't moved since 0.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
sorry.
Perfect. So let's talk about the one single camera that we have. You're going to have a couple of rules with that. Obviously, we're not going to be recording when we're walking in between spaces, so that way we don't, but you're the only one here. So, welcome to a parking lot, everybody. Congrats, you made it. I told you I'd take you to weird spots around town. Reason why is because the other ghost tours don't come here. There's nothing to show. But it also allows my 10 to 12 people to be able to spread out. We're lucky enough that there's only 2 vehicles in here. It looks like the little Prius up there might be leaving here shortly, but we will stay away from that vehicle when we explore the space. Let's cover the history. This place used to be something. By the way, communication devices, I am not going to be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn, right? You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. So again, I'll kind of give you impromptu questions here. I like to keep this environment at this location pretty controlled. You'll see why here shortly. But this used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion. Their mansion.
Oh.
The mansion sat in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and you are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which Charles we're addressing in the event one of you hears.
5.1.
Okay, good. So, remind me to write that one down. Actually, start now, because I can talk and write at the same time.
11.1.
5 and 11, got it. Keep it going. So don't give me, we're going to keep yours escalating. So
7.1.
At this point, you don't want to give me anything below an 11 while we're inside this space, because that's your new baseline. You're going to stick to your 2.5. So again, remember, her ghost is basically standing right there in front of her. So
12.
12 flat.
Yeah.
Stigmata.
Yeah, some of those terms are spooky terms, but most of them are not.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Charles and Eliza. Let me know if anything goes above that 12.
Walking over here, I got 2 number 2s, so I got 2 twice, and Jack twice. Don't know if that means anything, but
It does.
it seemed pretty loud.
I don't know who Jack is, but I know what the 2-2 is.
Okay.
So I want something else to kind of tie it together, because it could be one of 2 things it's relevant to. So we're going to find out here shortly, hopefully. But anyway, so where was I? So, the son and the nephew, by the way, were signers of the Constitution. So that's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. If I don't give them that recognition, they'll do it very nastily through one of your spirit boxes. So that's
Do I
why.
turn mine on?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because again,
One said lawyer before. Wonder if one of them was a lawyer.
I'm sure one of them studied law, had to have. We were in England. But anyway, so your spirit box, just so you know, is very distracting to me because my ear is trained to listen to it. So if it's on, I want to listen. So I'll give you the cues for the unmute. Back to Eliza. She marries Charles at a very young age according to today's standards. I say it like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from. Think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age. Kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. Now, she married him because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying. She stays put, gets married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. This is a true love story. There is no foul play, no love affairs, nothing like that. True love story. So don't poke the bear. It's basically what I'm asking you not to do. Anyway, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been around town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. I think you're the only one wearing blue jeans right now, unless I'm mistaken, because I can't see.
Blue.
You got light blue on, so you don't have as much indigo. But with that said, when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. That's obvious with, you being all bundled up. But when she learned how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye right here. And then she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of Dad, and told him rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So, something absolutely unheard of. So, let's kind of get into the weird shit. I mean, we already discussed the boring business stuff with Eliza. Let's get to the weird stuff, because that's why you're here. I'm basically going to assign questions based on what type of spirit box you have. So you can either focus on them or you can say them out loud. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So we're going to start off with yours, keep it nice and simple. So the Eliza that I just spoke about was the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. Let's figure out which one we're dealing with by asking her maiden name. So again, once we spread out. So the other piece too is you might keep in mind that all of the communication devices, it's never going to be just you ask a question, you get the answer. It might be you ask the question, you get the answer. That's why we use so many different ways of communication. It can also show up on Colton's camera audio. It can also show up on my...
26.7.
Okay.
It just went down. It keeps going up and down.
Yeah. So if that was coming from something man-made, it would actually go like 26, 24, 19, 21. It would kind of trickle around that.
Straight to like 2.
Right. Welcome to why I come here every single day. So 26.2.
I was pointed that way.
And you didn't get anything on yours?
No.
Okay. You just had a little something. I missed what it was, though.
No. It was only like going to 2 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. With yours, Mary, you're going to go after Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it, so you can ask 4 common questions that we can get answers to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Okay.
So I don't think I have to explain what a pallbearer is to you, which is going to be nice. I normally have to do that, just so you know. And Sophia's looking at me like, oh shit, what's going to get
I'm
me?
just like
So
excited.
this is why
Okay,
you...
wait. Pallbearer, what age she was when she died, where she's buried,
Mhm.
and what was the other one?
What she died from.
What she died from.
So
Okay.
when, how, where, president. Easiest way to remember it. The mansion's not here anymore unless you can see it that I can't. So you're going to be asking about what happened to it. And if you get that answer, which if anybody gets the answer, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred.
So you like openly say it. Like
You can
ask.
if you want.
Or
I
you
mean,
can think it.
I mean, you can, again, just focus on it. That works too. So it just depends on what type of vibe you're putting out there today. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I will tell you, when I'm going to these spaces, a lot of times I speak openly. Again, but I've been doing this a long time. I get a better reaction if I'm speaking to her directly. Miss Eliza, my name is Nick. I would like to know what happened to your beautiful mansion. So that's kind of the way I would address it. Make sure you use very plain terms, by the way. Your TV shows will say, can you come to this EMF reader? She doesn't know what the effing EMF reader is. It's a box with a blinky light. So can you come to the box and kind of show me that you're here? I can see numbers that'll kind of show me readings, that kind of thing. You have to explain things. It's okay. She's from colonial days. So we are going to spread out in this space. Stay away from the one vehicle we do have. I'm sorry about the super, bright lights from the white truck, unless that's your car that's running right now.
No.
But I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you to kind of see what's going on with each device, but you will get unmuted. You've already been recording this entire time, right? Perfect. Have you heard anything else before we spread apart?
No. Well, yes, but no. Nothing important.
That you know of.
Right.
By the way, I am withholding information. A
Okay,
lot.
that's fine.
So I do that on purpose, so that way you guys actually have a genuine experience. I do want to see the rest of your word list, because you do have the word disease on there. Yep, one on the right. Interesting. Creed is interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking if it was a slave quarter.
It might have been.
Yeah.
So whenever you want to go back to the main page, same button on the right.
Yeah.
So both of them are going to be on the right-hand side. It's the
It
easiest way to
just
remember.
it's been on disease for quite
Yep.
a while.
And this thing, just so you know, might turn red. By the way, go ahead and get yours unmuted, Sophia, and then let's start bouncing around. Let's kind of see what hotspots we can get. Obviously, if you get anything higher than a 25 at this point, that's your new baseline. So just shout them out, and I'll write them down. And if it goes triple digits, please let me know.
Okay.
But I got a number 3,000.
What did it say?
Pirates?
It said pirates.
Pirates?
Yeah.
Where'd it go up to?
Not very, like not that high. Whenever we were walking, it said not telling.
Not telling? You wanna go tell him?
Yeah, I just remembered. It said not telling, and I didn't even ask anything.
Well, they were probably asking. Were you thinking of something?
I just got Creed.
Creed? Is that Creed again?
Yeah.
Anything else out of there?
We've gotten 2 Creeds
And then a
and
not
then a
telling.
not telling.
What did you ask?
I didn't
We
say
didn't ask
anything.
anything.
I was thinking about what happened, but I didn't say anything.
What's weird is the word creed showed up on the word list already.
Yeah, we just got it
well,
twice.
I heard that, but then it just happened twice.
And the fact that you guys heard pirate right away, the name Jack was heard. We will be discussing a pirate later on named Jack.
Okay.
I'm just wondering why the hell we're getting things relevant to him over here.
Yeah.
Like, I just asked him as you guys separated, I'm like, Jack, what are you doing over here? Get back in line. Like, you know I'm coming to this space later kind of mentality. You guys will hear that on your voice recording later. It's kind of like, what are you doing, man? Like, you know the rule of thumb here. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be in the space, man. Get in line. And again, with your camera, Colton, if I'm not always following up in real time, it's because I do send those videos to YouTube, so that way you guys can watch them on your TV. I watch them on a computer, so the screen is small. I'm actually getting ready to upgrade that into an iPad, so that way it'll be much easier to find in real time. So again, the slower you move, the better. But yeah, definitely keep listening in and seeing what you're getting. Any other numbers I need to worry about?
Not super high, like 19.
I'll take a 19. It's still pretty decent.
Yeah. I'm getting high teens.
I'm going to explain those numbers before we leave the space, just so you have an idea.
Let's say Caroline. Is it Caroline?
I think so.
Nick.
Do I talk to it?
You can ask her questions. Eliza.
What happened to your mansion?
I'm sorry, did you guys call me out again?
Yeah,
Is
we
it
heard a
Caroline?
Caroline.
I don't know a Caroline, but I'll write it down. Names and numbers usually don't lie. So if you guys give me weird shit, that's where I get excited.
I didn't catch it, he did.
Yeah, I heard it back here. It could have been something else, but I heard
keep getting
Caroline.
weird numbers, like 11.7. It's weird. Hey, video around that.
Huh? I was.
Huh?
I was.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Get around others.
Yeah, I am. Cannon?
36. Cannon.
I'm keeping getting family. That's all I keep getting. Family over and over again. There was a Phoenix, which I thought was fun. That's been over and over. About what? Right. Right. Oh.
We're going to be discussing a pirate named Jack later. I yelled at him because we all separated. I'm like, Jack, you're in the wrong spot. Go get back in. Like, I'll see you in about an hour.
Sometimes they get pushy.
They did. It's not like they didn't know I'm coming. So, yeah, the name Jack, the pirate showing up. You let that guy actually venture a little bit. Checking your EMF meter too?
It went up to like a 2 for a split second. And then it went James. It said James. And then it said me.
What did they just say?
What you heard? Did you hear anything else that's on there? I'm gonna call this one. You have to see why.
All right, Liz, come on back.
I never know what's gonna happen out here. That's the great thing for me. Mary, anything else I need to know?
Just hit again.
What was it?
Baby.
Baby. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and put you on mute. We'll wait for Liz to get back here and I'll give you the answers. Colton, by all means, give your hands a break, hit the stop button, and that way you can be. If other people start walking through, just be discreet. Stop at the gate. I want to hear what Mary's got going on with that thing. What'd you hear along the way?
125.
12.
That's the benefit. Something else. I'll think of it. Those were the main ones. It's hard to catch. It's going by so fast.
I actually have it set to slow. It
Oh,
goes
really?
way faster. What else came out of yours besides
Women.
people?
Exxon.
At home, people.
High tech spot.
Yeah, high tech
Yeah.
spot. You did get that. What's weird is your EMF reader should have like spiked at that point because the crosswalk electrician like lines are underneath the sidewalk right there, and it will make your devices go like 80, 90 to 100. So it is a high tech spot. That was my first thought when we were passing by that area. So explain what EMF is. Baseline in here for you, Sophia, is going to be a 7. So with yours, Liz, we're going to keep yours at a 2.5, just because, and I say that because it's not as sensitive as the one that she's using. And we do have lamp posts near us, so we want to make sure like what we have is truly paranormal. If we do record any numbers down.
It's at 2.5. It's fluctuating, but
Yeah.
it was at 2.5.
Yeah, so let's go anything above that 2.5, because if it's staying there, it's usually from something man-made, kind of like what I explained to you earlier. It's going to hover. So this is Philadelphia Alley. So again, we're going to be here to kind of stir shit up, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. So this is the place I'm actually taking out of the route this year, if I can get the new location to work out. The reason why is because every tour comes down here. So if you've been on another ghost tour in Charleston, you've already been here. So I don't like to do the same things that they do. So because there are tours, I'm experienced. Trying to see if you're actually on record. You are good. So this used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal back in the 1700s. They had to find hiding spots to be able to make these events happen. This happened to be one of those hiding spots. Here's how this goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Because you're probably still listening with one ear, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. So anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just received. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. By the way, Liz, what were the last couple of words that we got on your word list? I'm sorry I didn't follow up with you. I was just looking around going, did I hit everybody?
Recession, arena, call, run.
We're not running.
No. And the meat has been 2.7, 2.8.
Okay, I'll take a 2.7. I mean, that's obviously over a 2.5. And you got nothing coming out of yours?
No, just like 2 and 5.
Okay.
Like point.
Yeah, 0.2, 0.5. So, and Dr. Ladd moves down here.
Just got 25.
I'll write it down.
No, we're
But
talking
we're talking about all these
20.
2.5s, yeah. Interesting. It's just weird that you guys are getting all the same things. See, this is that George Washington bit I was telling you about. Now you're going to be looking for 25s.
No, it was very loud.
So on his way into town, because he's going to move down here to prove that he's not after Amanda's money, the coachman that he had set him up to be robbed and killed. So it was like having a really bad Uber driver dropping him off and he's going to die. So somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. His name, Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. We were getting the letters RI all the time on spirit boxes like yours, so I bought another device that acts like a Ouija board. Anytime there's an EMF spike, it stops it on a letter and drops that letter to a different row to see if there's any anagrams, initials, or words being spelled out for us. We have gotten the letters RI when I brought up Ralph, probably about 6 times in the past 9 months. So again, can't take that as coincidence since it happens on a regular basis. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. I got friends there. You'll be able to rent a room. You'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. Now, Ralph and the doctor are now friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's cash flow. And so Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. I will tell you that every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. It's another reason why I'm taking this out of my route, even though I still get regular evidence from Dr. Ladd. Let's move on. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats to go see the play. On the way home one night from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the new actress because they couldn't sit next to each other and argue about her there. So the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper, tells his friends there to put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Doc saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. I want you to keep in mind that this stupid argument started over an actress. Yeah, that's how it all began. So they came down here, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. Ralph, however, has his one bullet inside of his flintlock. He puts it inside the kneecap of the doctor. You okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have asthma.
Gotcha. So the doctor doesn't die. He fell to the ground with his kneecap wound. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what they are now. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. So, every ghost story that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. It's always quiet down here aside from that air conditioner running. I will tell you that if we have a camera running plus my voice recorder, so if we're going to get whistles, it's more than likely going to be on one of these two devices. I won't say that we haven't dozens of times on the Mary Spirit box have gotten whistling part of a song and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. So, doctor, we get it all the time. It's one of the sad things I'm going to be missing when I take this out of the route, if I do decide to do that. We're going to get all kinds of things when we go over to the next location, but I want to point out a couple of things. If you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through here with your voice recorders from your phone to listen to it later, just remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a down the alley. I used to do it every single morning. My office is over here. My old garage is that way. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm walking back to the office, and I'd always throw a whistle down here, especially since I got thrown out of here. Let's talk about that, because that's the fun part of the story. And I was just like, oh, shit. What kind of trouble did you get yourself into? She's just giving me that mom look over there. But anyway, so this alley didn't go all the way through that way. The reason why is because there was a wall there, and this is where they kept the livestock. This is where they kind of herded them all in. It used to be called Cow Alley, back in the day before Dueler's Alley. What does that mean for you? The bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, along with fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson, nothing paranormal about it. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. You're not going to find anything. November 26th of 2020, my entire group is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen, even though I told them nothing was going to happen. So it's also because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful of that home, not realizing I was out of bounds for tours. So, because I still have to follow all the tour laws. So, the new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at. She was on the tour that night. Yeah, she thought it was hysterical. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked for Walmart for over 10 years. I don't do Thanksgiving because you guys fight over towels. Yeah, thanks for scarring me for life on Thanksgiving. Appreciate y'all. But anyway, the next day was the 28th of November. I basically called my partner that morning and I told him what happened. And he laughed at me too because he was teaching me about tourism. And he said, dude, you're not allowed to go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential past that. You're going to have to reroute your group. So I told my group that night, I'm sold out again. It's Black Friday. I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. I've already told you we're going to be discussing pirates. It's the next stop. So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating, the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get over there, I told them the little bit I did know about piracy. Somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that one meant. I wrote it down. I did the research. We're there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th, 1720. The exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, well, shit. I was actually kind of pissed off. Let me explain. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Especially when I'm ghost hunting, I need facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the pirate occurrences actually happened. So it's all like word of mouth kind of stuff. I've read more books on pirates than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to piece this together for our 15 minutes of fame over there. It is a fun story. I'll give you the history of the space. We will be able to spread out like what we did back at the Pinckney Mansion, and hopefully you're going to get things from Dr. Ladd as well. So have you heard anything as you were trying to focus on me too?
Yeah.
Okay. I hear it ringing in your ears.
Yeah,
and you're on mute, obviously. What are our words that we have going on?
Cable, need, wood, divide, kindle.
Divide is the only thing that I can think of. And that's only because of one of two reasons. First off, the wall that I told you about up here, but also this gateway behind me. There's a reason why I stopped at the gate. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. So if there was a loser to the duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. So I call this the Death Gate. Again, not a whole lot of people know why it's here. The wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. But the wrought iron was probably early 1900s. So we're talking archway is at least 300 years old, archway about 100, 150, depending on how you look at it. But we have gotten some weird things down here, so hopefully we're going to get more weird things as we kind of go up and around the corner. You could stop your video at this point. You were pretty steady. You're
So pretty here.
So normally when we have a full moon, I command right next to the church steeple from this
I just got Pete Rose, and I want to go back home.
Put you on mute. Pete Rose. And I want to go home. Let me explain.
Okay.
The address where Dr. Ladd lived, 59 Church Street, is known as the Thomas Rose House. So your spirit box is slowed down, like I said. So what color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer. We just need the red.
Yeah.
You heard Pete Rose,
Yeah.
and I want to go home.
I just want to go back home.
Just want to go home. See, I already wrote down I want to go home. Love that. We get Rose here more often than not. See why I withhold information? So again, that's why I do that. So that way, all of these big surprises, I get stoked about it. How are we doing on the word list? Anything crazy?
Electrical, shot,
Shot when we just left Dueler's Alley. Okay.
consent, syllables. Why me?
Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever had that come up. Did you hear anything along the way?
Approval.
Just
Your name.
yeah, your name
Here
and then
go
go.
as we walk.
That was
As
it.
soon as we turned it on, it said go.
It said what?
Go. Like leave.
As we were
It was like
leaving,
we're walking.
And I got tenant underage.
like the underage drinkers at Big John's.
Yeah, but when Doc Ladd came here, I don't know how old he was. And it said tenant.
It said tenant, and then I got underage later.
So when he moved here, I don't know if he would have been what we consider underage to go rent a room from somewhere. That's actually very curious, at least on my end. Sorry, this is where I geek out on shit. Tenant underage, and obviously I'm excited about your word shot when we were leaving Dueler's Alley. Go your name. All right, so Colton's already asked like what that little building is up there. That's why we're here. So let's get into this history. I try to breeze through this one because I've already been talking your ear off. I'll slow down on a few of the twists because we're talking about a famous female pirate, and there's going to be some spicy little twists in here. So we're going to slow down on those, and I'll breeze through the rest. Is that fair? So we can get back to work. That's the Gunpowder Magazine. So it's a museum now. So it actually served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. Those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are, because none of you are from here, earthquake bolts are basically turnbuckles. So it looks like just like that on the other side. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned prior tonight, you could turn the turnbuckles in opposite directions, and it'll tighten the building up so that way it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea. It just doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town. Even the apartment building behind the Powder Magazine has earthquake bolts on every single floor. You guys have seen them in the shape of pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. It's just what we do here. So it's a weird thing. So those earthquake bolts that I just pointed out, the big ones, that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. That's the reason why we're here. Simply because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. So it was finished in 1713. It was being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. This is what I call a familiar. So you guys have seen the Boo Buddy. That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter inside of it on your TV shows. So I want you to think of that as kind of the same process of here. They use that Boo Buddy on TV because they're trying to attract a child ghost. They would recognize the bear as a toy and would recognize the building from her era because we don't have many buildings from her time frame. So that's part of the reason why we're here. It is a big roll of the dice because she is said to be seen all over the place. We've already had some of her lovers show up earlier tonight, if you guys get my drift of all of that. But let's get into this. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building? 10 years? Sorry, dude, I know you work for the government. But at the same time, our history begins in 1708, right in the middle of its construction. Follow me here. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? Okay. The 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. Notice why I didn't say that fast now? Yeah, a lot of people are like, wait a minute, can you go back and do that again? But anyway, imagine how pissed off that wife was that she kicked him out of the country by boat. There's no plane yet, guys. It's 1708. But anyway, they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So we've already kind of got the gist of where Myrtle Beach is from here. But Dad bought a plantation in Georgetown, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. Now, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, or 9, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So again, I've had servant, knife, and belly all show up on 3 different devices. The other 2 people don't know what's going on. Happens all the time. Fast forward. The building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through town, and Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during these times. So, first guy she falls in love with. And I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through them all. You already know where the one name is. James Bonny. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. When she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wanted. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually was. Now, Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
Because it's like bad.
Bad
It's
luck.
like, yeah.
You're on the right track. I'll finish it for you. Thank you for keeping it family friendly, because I get some really nasty answers to that question. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you could be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But now she's a pirate, but we're all adults. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's going to be a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And then they're going to get rid of Jack as captain because there is a democracy on every single ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to that child, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, because now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. I know, lots going on here, right? So, her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, we're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one little measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain and beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up on communication devices all the time. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front of the judge and reveal their gender. He does not give a shit if they're female. They're trying to save themselves, and he doesn't care. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. They both scream out, "We plead our bellies," meaning they're claiming to be pregnant, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. And she never married Jack. I know. I'm trying to piece all this together for y'all. Now, she has 4 children, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know anything about her that we can say for certain after her pirate career. Even everything I told you just came from a minimum of 2 resources. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books tell you it was something simple like fever. Make it romantic, call it scurvy. I don't give a shit what you do. Yeah, I know, I just make it nice and bumpy and gross for you. Now, with this location, I'm not going to try to control it. I'm just going to, like what I do with the Pinckney Mansion site, I just try not to piss her off so I can keep the space. This is a female pirate. Like, she's badass, right? So I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out on purpose, just so you have something to work with. Everything else is fair game. Ask whatever the hell you want to. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents, father and the mistress. I know what they are. You don't. Figure out what they are. The name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined as a male pirate, the name of the city where she grew up in Ireland. And last but not least, this one should be easy, and I normally give this one to people that are struggling with a spirit box, and nobody seems to be doing that tonight. But the color of Anne Bonny's hair.
And Bonnie's what?
Hair.
Oh.
She's a red-haired, green-eyed Irish woman. So again, if somebody's struggling with a spirit box, that's an easy one to grab. Because again, it's one syllable, and the word red is pretty commonly said.
Right.
So we are going to spread out in this space. I am excited about any EMF on this back half. The reason why is because you have 2 electrical poles in the corners, parking meters on the other side. That whole front half is going to be littered with 3 to 7s, and it's more than likely going to be coming from those 2 different things. So the back half is where I get excited. You're definitely going to get unmuted. He's already been recording because he's, he wants a raise already, even though I just hired him. So any words that I need to know about?
Instruct, beans, gale, banshee.
How is Gale spelled?
G-A-I-L.
So it's not a gale of wind. Gale of wind is G-A-L-E.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah, but maybe she
man?
didn't know how to spell.
That's true.
How about Sam?
I got nothing on Sam. But again, there's a lot here I don't know. So if you get like what happened to your baby and you get a direct answer, that's on you. I can't prove it. So I won't count it as evidence, but I will write it down. It will be in your notes. It just won't be counted as part of being paranormal. But yeah, let's have some fun. Let's interrogate a kick-ass female. Let's do this. Sophia's like living the dream right now. She's been all smiles since we
I'm
left
like
the gym.
excited.
What?
I don't know if that was an SOS before.
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
So was this her idea?
No. So she had told me about. So she hates scary movies, right?
Okay.
Like absolutely hates them, but she's very into paranormal things. Being from Galveston and all that, and she grew up right down the road from the killing fields from the Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
She was always very into that growing up, and so I found it, and I found that like you said we could use all the equipment and stuff, and I was like, all right, this is the one.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to just walk around and have someone tell us spooky stories for a couple hours.
Yeah, but that's how everything goes. It's only a couple hours, like 90 minutes.
Yeah. So.
But normally there's a drag boyfriend or a drag husband, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like, all right, she's very excited. So I'm wondering if this was her idea and she talked you into it.
No, I found it and I figured she would love it. So.
Well, I also, I knew you were in the Navy, and I'm like, I don't always pull this thing out, but I figured you would enjoy the high tech part of this.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, watching the FLIR anyway.
Yeah, and I grew up watching, like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. Yeah, all the TV shows.
Well, you guys really grew up with it. Like that stuff didn't start until I was probably your age.
Yeah.
So that's about the time frame that I started really the show was meant for me. Like for me to do this.
4226 3. And 3 was right after you talked about her boyfriends. Like, no, 3. And unfiled tax returns.
You want to know what the 4226 is?
Yeah.
It's her death date, April 22nd. I'm not kidding. I remember that because her death date is my brother's birthday.
Oh.
And Anne's birthday is his wife's birthday. So March 8th.
Yeah.
And then the death date is his. So that's how I remember it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I have 42263, and what was the other piece?
Unfiled tax returns.
We all have those.
What?
I said we all have those.
I know.
Okay.
Especially pirates.
Yeah, especially pirates. Any readings over there, Liz?
something? Did I say spirit?
No,
Spirit?
I have a bunch. That is not.
Spiked?
Yeah.
What did I say?
8.
Well, he said the light post and all the stuff over here from this half.
She was getting little twos over here. What do you
I got
have?
an 8. I
Where'd you
got
get
8 on
Where?
here.
Where at?
Right here. The second that I stopped, I got it.
What's it at right now?
3.
I'll write that 8 down for sure. Since it's not
Also,
steady.
I got luxury and then nothing good. But I'm standing steady at a 1 right now, but it's weird because it's been going fluctuating. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, but that 8 wasn't like that. 3 to
Yeah.
7 is pretty steady
that was
from there,
weird.
but an 8 is off. Like that's above that 3 to 7 I expect from
Yeah.
the front half. Nothing good.
I wonder if you get close to that building. Maybe something will come out of there.
7. 9.
We got a 9.
1.2.
Nick, we got a 9 and a 1.2. Is it a 0.9? 0.9?
1.3. I freaked out.
Are you saying a 0.9?
1.3.
But a 0.9? Or was it a 9.0?
0.9.
Oh, okay. I think she got.
Hear 9?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear or see 9?
C9, but I got 1.3.
Okay. That sounded like please don't.
Oh, I told her to go closer to the building and maybe we'll get something. And
Well,
maybe-
she'll probably get EMF from it. And the
Maybe.
walls are 3 feet thick, so she shouldn't get too much from it.
Yeah, we went to the old exchange yesterday, and they told us about how they were shooting cannonballs and they barely missed this by like 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they moved all of the gunpowder to the basement or the dungeon.
Yep.
But I didn't know this was it when we walked up on it.
Yeah, this is an interesting building. Like the architecture of it is fascinating to me. There's sand underneath those shingles from
Oh, really?
early 1700s. So if the building does get hit, because the walls are so thick, the explosion will go up,
Yeah.
as will the sand, and then it should drop to put out the fire. That doesn't work either. We had another powder magazine near the battery.
Uh-huh.
It did get hit because it's closer to the water, and the sand went up, but the building burned to the ground.
Oh.
So that's why it doesn't exist anymore. This one's just never been hit.
Hmm.
But it's a museum now. Like it's a good $5 to spend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really cheap to get in there.
Okay. We might do that tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's like a 40-minute tour.
Oh.
And
I have
just
a 1.9.
again, you're close to that electrical pole.
Yeah.
What do you got now, Mary?
I love him. Truth. February jail.
February June.
I might be giving you nonsense, but that's what I got.
Any other words on yours, Liz?
Yeah, unprecedented.
I hate that damn word. I use so much. You got anything else coming out of your
Chains.
chains in jail? That kind of goes together, right?
What?
She has chains. Chains in jail, and we were just talking about the damn provost, where there are chains in there.
Should I mute it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and mute it. Let's call this one, because again, this is a weird set too. I mean, you had that little weird EMF, like you had an 8 and a 9 that showed up.
And 2044.
I do love the 4226 that you
I
heard.
know, right?
So that is Anne Bonny's death date, April 22nd. So I get really excited about that because that's not a normal thing that you hear all the time. Get any